to enjoy as we welcome you to ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. Nighttime in Brooklyn for two of college basketball's preeminent programs, the number 11-seeded Syracuse Orange and the 6th-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels. It's part of the 2018 New York Life ACC tournament. A couple of Hall of Famers going head-to-head here tonight at the Barclays Center. It's been a day of comebacks. Notre Dame down by 21 against Virginia Tech. Matt Farrell and the Irish heated up in the second. 22 from Farrell, and Bonzie Colson in his fourth game back from a fractured foot scored 12, grabbed 7 boards. And the Irish have a date with a Tobacco Road team tomorrow, a rematch of last year's ACC tournament title game. They meet Duke tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The winner of Carolina-Syracuse sees Miami tomorrow for the final game on Thursday night here in Brooklyn. So glad to have you here with us. Mike Cousins along with the former Notre Dame legend, LaFonso Ellis. North Carolina is firmly into the tournament. Yes. Syracuse, however, teeters on the bubble. What would a win for them do tonight?
Well, right now, their first 4 out. They already have 3. You're going to hear this term, quadrant 1 wins from the NCAA Selections Committee. An opportunity tonight is in front of the Syracuse team. If they can get another one on their resume, it puts them in a good spot.
Difficult road ahead for them, however, as they square off against one of the best duos, not only in this league, but in all of college basketball.
Inside-outside combination. Luke May can score anywhere on the floor. Excellent three-point shooter. And this kid here, Joel Berry, Mr. Big Shot Joel Berry, great in transition, excellent off the bounce, and he's been shooting that basketball pretty well.
Allison Williams, the Orange, a very short rostered team right now.
Oh, for sure, Mike. Anybody that follows Syracuse knows that their starters log a ton of minutes. In fact, Tyus Battle leads the country in minutes played. He averages 40 a game in ACC play. Second nationally, teammate O'Shea Brissett, and 7th in minutes played in the country, Frank Howard, who averages about 38 a game. Now, they all insist it's no problem. They just have to be diligent with rest, recovery, hydration. But this is the first time that they will be playing big minutes in back-to-back days. Frank Howard said you just have to embrace it, be smart, stay off your feet. He's like, you just got to treat it like you're in AAU. Right, guys? Similar setting, about the same amount at stake. No big deal, right?
Just a few more people on hand here in Brooklyn than you might get at the Peach Jam in North Augusta, South Carolina. So starting lineups introduced here for the Tar Heels and the Orange. And the last time they met was in the Carrier Dome, February 21st of this year. A huge game for Joel Berry, who scored 18. Theo Pinson scored 23 as North Carolina held off the Orange 78-74, keeping Syracuse scoreless over the last 3 minutes. And you can imagine that SU has been eagerly awaiting this opportunity to get a rematch.
Yeah, and I think this game for Syracuse, I think it's going to have to be one of those ugly games that's played in the 60s. This is a North Carolina team that loves to get out in transition and push the pace. They like it high 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. If Syracuse can keep this game in the 60s, they've got a shot.
Since the start of February, the men in blue and white have been the most prolific offense in all of college basketball, averaging 85 points a game in that span. They will be a juggernaut to try and defend tonight.
This team loves to push the pace, looking for early opportunities within 7 seconds of the shot clock. Misses and makes. You'll see Joel Berry on the push up the floor looking for early opportunities.
Jim Boeheim, 2005 inductee into the Hall of Fame, has his team sitting just on the outside looking in. And Roy Williams, North Carolina, they've reached the ACC tournament title game 5 of the last 7 years. And a very experienced roster as well. They played 17 postseason games the last 2 years. They are built for this time of the year.
There is absolutely no question about it. With some national championship experience out there, both in the backcourt and the front court.
May at center circle for Carolina. Brissett for Syracuse, and the opening tip belongs to the Tar Heels.
Folks, it's going to be important that North Carolina attacks that ACC area. Theo Pinson, number 1 in white, is the ideal guy to be a playmaker from that spot.
Berry straight away for May, a 15-footer, short, tip back out for Berry, 10 to shoot.
What a quick reaction by Chukwu.
The floater, offside iron, tipped in, southpaw delivery for May.
And that's one of the areas, as good of a offensive rebounding team this Syracuse team is, they can sometimes give up a lot of opportunities on the offensive glass. Let's see if Carolina can exploit that throughout the balance of this game.
UNC number 1 in the ACC in offensive rebounds a game, and number 1 in the country in average rebounds per game. Dolezaj cleans it up, coming off a career night for the slender freshman from Slovakia, scoring 20 yesterday.
He was so active around the rim, fearless in taking that 15-foot jump shot, and he's got that little floater as well.
He gave Berry some space, tried a 3. Brissett soars in to snatch it. The big 3 on the perimeter right now. Tyus Battle with the ball, finds O'Shea Brissett. Frank Howard among that group as well. Here's Howard.
The key for Carolina is, can they contain the dribble penetration of Syracuse? They run a lot of isolation situations.
5 to shoot. It's got to come quick. Battle tries to create space over the top of Williams. Long shot grabbed by May, and here comes Carolina. Down the lane, a flip over the shoulder. Howard's there to intercept it. Pinson nearly got it back. And into the half court for Syracuse.
Yeah, I thought that ball should have gone right into Luke May. He had Chukwu deep into the post area. Missed opportunity there for North Carolina.
The 5 on the floor right now for the Orange. The most important 5 players they have. They scored all 73 of their points yesterday. And each of the 5 starters played at least 35 minutes.
And that's a lot. It's going to be interesting to see if fatigue becomes a factor, because, again, North Carolina really comes at you on the offensive end, and they will push on misses and makes.
A test of perseverance that will involve a lot of perspiration as well.
Yeah, you can't give North Carolina easy opportunities. Can't turn it over. Can't give them second chance shots.
There he goes baseline, and it's a corner triple lined up nicely for Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson has been in a really good rhythm. 18 points per game over the last 2. Averages 13 on the season.
Howard across the lane, had it swatted away. It's Williams ahead of the pack with contact. May follows it up.
And folks, we talked about North Carolina loving to push that basketball out in transition. They get you back on the heels, and we talked about also the opportunities that avail themselves both in the half court and in transition against the Orange.
It's an interesting contrast of styles with Carolina against Syracuse, the second slowest paced team in the league. But they've got scores on the outside as Battle hits the 3.
He is capable of explosive nights. Had 37 against Florida State.
One player to watch coming up the floor, number 11 in orange, O'Shea Brissett. Just 10 points yesterday for him, and 0 for 6 from 3. That one swatted out of bounds by Chukwu. Ball to North Carolina.
And folks, this is what one of the things you have to do against that Syracuse zone. You got to get them on the move, because they do a great job of collapsing to the basketball. What a great pass over there to Cam Johnson. And now the attack in transition. No one gets a box out on Luke May coming in. Again, those opportunities are available aplenty for Carolina.
Quick touch pass. Johnson fades away. Rebound to Chukwu.
Now, I will say this, is Syracuse needs to keep this game, Mike, in the 60s. But when they get opportunities where they have what I call even odd opportunities in transition, they got to be able to take them, because this North Carolina defense is much improved over the last couple weeks.
Brissett lost his dribble, got it back after it was swatted away. Battle sweeps away Williams and makes it look good.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Orange in front by 1, almost 5 minutes gone in the opening half. May across the lane, beautiful feed to find Sterling Manley.
Well, they were able to overload the right side of the floor. And again, if you can get that basketball to the ACC area short corners, there's some opportunities there. What a beautiful big-to-big pass there.
Brissett going on Manley. Johnson collapses in the lane and draws the foul on Brissett. 1 point game. But today things went beyond basketball here in the ACC. The loss of a legend. We'll tell you about that when we return to Brooklyn.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life. We know that life doesn't fit into any one plan. So start a plan that flexes with yours. And Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
From out on the left, good! 13, 12, 11. Georgetown with 1 timeout. Fred Brown looking. Oh, way to Worthy! Worthy 5! The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship!
The iconic voice of the late legend Woody Durham, who passed away at age 76 this morning at his home in Chapel Hill, the voice of the Tar Heels for 40 years. He said, go where you go and do what you do to Tar Heel fans. And there's his son, Wes, working for the ACC network, longtime voice at Georgia Tech and the voice of the Atlanta Falcons as well. Talked to Wes in between games today, and he said this is exactly where his dad would want him to be today.
Wow, how about that? What a kind and gentle man.
Voice of the Tar Heels from 1971 up until his retirement in 2011. 4 hoops titles, 13 Final Fours, 23 bowl games. They say you can learn a lot about a person by the love they leave behind, and you could tell around the broadcasting world, around North Carolina and the ACC today, there was a lot of love for Woody Durham.
I mean, I just took a little break to go back to the locker room area, and as I was coming back, there were cameras all around Wes over there. So, to your point, a lot of love and appreciation for the Durhams.
(9-8), a 1-point North Carolina lead. As Howard goes to work on Berry, uses the glass, and it rolls out. See the great rebounding there on display by North Carolina, number 1, not only in rebounds per game, but also rebounding margin in this league. Dolezaj rising to reject, and then a foul is called on the second effort underneath the bucket. That's on Chukwu, his first, but how about Dolezaj fearlessly on defense?
Folks, watch how quickly Dolezaj reacts to the basketball, and we've been saying here for this Syracuse team now, they're thin, but they are long, quick, and athletic. What a reaction there inside. Wow.
Sinewy and springy defense from Dolezaj.
Look at this, folks. Watch how quickly he gets there and does it perfectly. Goes perfectly up in the air with 2 hands and blocks that shot. Wow, what a beautiful reaction there. Sterling Manley at the foul line here had 12 points and 6 rebounds in 17 minutes against the 'Cuse the last time these two teams met.
Best point total for the freshman from Central Ohio in any ACC game this year. Battle for Dolezaj, who rises to the rim. Trying to follow up a career-high 20 yesterday with aggressive offense. Chukwu plays it straight up and sends Manley packing. Battle trying to turn the corner. Howard into a 3-ball.
Mike, remember what we said earlier. If you cannot contain the dribble penetration against the 'Cuse, you are in trouble. They're doing a really nice job of finding the next guy open when there's 2 guys to the ball.
They're defending well at the rim. They've shot well from three so far. A perfect 3 for 3 for a team that ranks 319th in three-point field goal percentage out of 351 teams in Division I.
But if somebody's taking them, you want Howard and Battle to take those open threes. Got to continue to drive the basketball. It's been good for Cuse here early.
Battle got the first step, but he's got to get back to his feet here as North Carolina's pushing with a 5-on-4. Williams fakes the pass, misses the shot, but Berry in the right place at the right time.
What good anticipation by Berry of where that basketball was coming off the rim.
Attack in the middle of his own, and that's foul number 2 on Chukwu.
And folks, North Carolina knows that this is an isolation team, so they are jamming the lane areas, taking away dribble penetration. But a little peek here as Frank Howard was able to turn the corner and get down the lane. What a nice pass. And now all of a sudden he attacks Berry. Berry comes off too far, too long of a run, and Frank Howard drills a 3 from the wing.
First is good for Pinson, who shoots 82% from the line. Johnson and Manley go take a seat. Garrison Brooks and Brandon Robinson come onto the floor, and the substitution sees Chukwu take a seat with those 2 fouls for Barama Sidibe, the freshman out of Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, Theo Pinson really hurt the Cuse in their last meeting. 23 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds in 34 minutes. He was exceptional playing at that foul line area, scoring and making plays for his teammates. North Carolina can't overhelp. The overhelps have been getting them in trouble here on the last 4 possessions. They got to stay home, anticipating when the basketball is going to be picked up off the floor.
Sidibe rolls, had nobody with him. Brissett tries to create space, hits it off the side of the backboard. Shot clock doesn't reset, and a foul underneath the basket against North Carolina. Tomorrow it's second round action of the SEC men's basketball tournament on the SEC network. It starts at 1 Eastern with A&M against Alabama. Georgia with a win behind a huge effort from Yante Maton earlier today. And either South Carolina or Ole Miss will be the third game against Arkansas, with the Gamecocks up 4 late in the first half. Here comes Pinson, in and out dribble. It drops home. 15-13, the Tar Heels in the lead.
Well, you expect it from the Tar Heels on the push, but one of the ways you can beat the zone is getting out in front of it, and they've done that really well on a couple possessions here early.
Brissett, step back, got it. 3-pointer. He was 0 for 6 from deep yesterday, 33% on the year. He was bound to come back to life at some point.
He is a phenomenal player. Only a freshman, folks, averaging 15 and 9. And folks, I love the playmaker that Theo Pinson is. He can do so much out there on the floor. How about this? Hangs up in the air, switches hands, and gets a little soft roll on the rim.
It was just a couple games ago, after a 15-point loss at Boston College, Jim Boeheim had some words about his team that last night proved not to be true.
The bottom line is we got 3 guys that have been doing the scoring, and we don't have other guys that are capable of scoring, and that's really what it is, basically.
And yet, LaFonso Ellis, without Dolezaj and Chukwu, the Orange do not take down Wake Forest yesterday.
Oh, without a doubt. Dolezaj did a great job of not being afraid to take the low 15-foot jump shot and the floater. Exceptional on the glass. They were finding him in the lane area, and Chukwu was absolutely terrific. And I thought the thing that Chukwu did well yesterday is he wasn't catching the ball and then thinking. He was catching and reacting. He's such a better player when he's catching and reacting versus thinking the game through. 2 guys that combined to average about 11 points a game yesterday, combining for 34, shooting 12 of 14. And shooting from the line, it's Theo Pinson who gets the first to fall. It ties things up at 16. Made a change early in February, making Theo the playmaker from that elbow free throw line. Then the team's offense really picked up And he stopped taking so many random threes and has actually made him a lot more efficient from the three-point line. Shooting 44% from three over the last 4 games.
Williams out of the field. Finishes, and Carolina extends its advantage to 3.
And folks, that's one thing you cannot do against North Carolina. You can't give them easy points. Second chance opportunities off turnovers. That would, another one.
Second straight double team and a second straight transition opportunity at the bucket. No finish for Brooks, but he's fouled.
And folks, against turnovers will kill you when you're playing against Carolina because they're such an excellent transition team. How about the jump in the gap there by Williams? Gets out and finishes in transition, and on the very next play, they get another turnover. Go down, miss the shot. But Garrison Brooks is right there at the front of the rim to get an offensive rebound and get fouled on the way up.
Slowly starting to rack up the fouls against a Syracuse team that cannot afford foul trouble. Chukwu has 2, which is why Sidibe is on the floor, a guy who's battled tendonitis in his knee this year, and only 2 healthy scholarship guards, and you're looking at them, Frank Howard and Tyus Battle. It's Howard with the drop-off, Brissett.
I thought Howard should have taken that little runner that he takes in the lane there.
Double team corner kick. Brissett has the 3 rattle home, his second in the first 10 minutes.
He was 0 for in yesterday's game, but shooting it with a lot of confidence. The team, they've been giving him that little corner 3, but he's looking like he's a confident shooter today. Make that tonight. I've been in the building too long today.
Action starting at noon, and we won't be done here till just shy of midnight Eastern, but that is the fun of March.
Yes. Dribble penetration has been good. The drive either to the basket or for the kick. Syracuse has to continue to attack off the bounce.
Just 5 to shoot. Howard's got to create, takes 2 screens, gets hedged out high, 1 on the shot clock. And it's a shot clock violation despite Dolezaj's best efforts. Very well defended bigs and guards there by UNC.
What a nice job by Garrison Brooks, number 15 in white, moving his feet, because almost like in football, when the big is hedging out there, he's basically setting the edge, and you cannot allow the guard to turn the corner. What a nice job moving his feet by number 15 in white.
Substitutions coming after that shot clock violation. May, Johnson, and Andrew Platek, who's got it there, all out onto the floor.
Nice shot fake.
And 1 for May.
And this is where I think you got to get Chukwu back in the basketball game, because it becomes a different deal. Carolina looks a lot more confident challenging the basket inside. What a nice shot fake there by Luke May. Able to get Sidibe off of his feet and has the strength to be able to finish that one over the top. Well executed there by Luke May.
The most improved player in the ACC, first team All-ACC selection, along with his teammate Joel Berry, the first time that UNC has had 2 on the first team since 2012. Platek jams into Battle. Ball out of bounds. Platek and Berry thinking that was off of Battle as he went out of bounds.
It was. It actually should be North Carolina basketball. Because watch, he's standing out of bounds.
And then it hits him.
And it hits him. Should be Carolina ball.
Fortunately for Battle, he also screened the official Les Jones.
That's right.
Returned him the call.
That's right.
Short time on the shot clock once again. Platek with the interception. As Berry up ahead, May shook him off under the basket. At the rim, Pinson finds success. Jim Boeheim calls a timeout as Carolina's transition offense has been the key to its success. A 10-3 Tar Heels run.
Carolina's doing a great job of pushing it and moving without the basketball. Watch this cut here by Pinson. Draws some contact, able to finish it over the top. That was beautiful.
Tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch, LaFonso. No surprise, we laser our focus in on Luke May.
How about Luke May? Nearly 18 points a game, 10 rebounds per game. He's had himself an incredible. There was one point he was shooting over 45% from the three-point line. And he's having a magnificent year.
Allison?
Well, guys, Luke May's 21st birthday is today. I asked Joel Berry if he got him anything. He said, nah, not yet, because I'm hoping to get him an ACC championship for his birthday. And really, guys, not too much to ask, because you remember last year, Joel Berry got a national championship on his birthday, so it's only fair.
A lot of birthdays going around. Cam Johnson just had his 22nd birthday on Saturday night. Now under 8 minutes to go here in Brooklyn with North Carolina out in front by 6.
Nice.
May feed, play tech for 2.
How about that perfect execution? Again, the kill spot is the ACC area, and when you catch it, you have to make quick decisions with the basketball. None quicker than that last one. Nicely done by the Tar Heels.
Jump ball stays here.
And folks, watch how beautiful the passing here from North Carolina. The ball is not sticking, and when it doesn't stick, it puts you in a precarious situation on the defensive end. What a beautiful bounce pass underneath by Luke May. Play tech with the finish.
We in the building, it's game time. Get out my way, I'm driving baseline, come on. You want it, yeah, you got it. Hey, bust a move.
Tomorrow it's the quarterfinals of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship on ESPN. Oklahoma State a winner earlier today. They take on Kansas, which will be without Udoka Azubuike, a grade 1 sprain in the MCL in his left knee during practice. So he is out for the remainder of the Big 12 tournament. And in action right now, Texas and Iowa State. Lindell Wigginton leading the Cyclones with 9 points to a 31-28 lead.
You mentioned Oklahoma State having to play against Kansas. That'll be the third time this year. They swept Kansas in the regular season. Can they do it a third time?
5 to shoot on the possession for Syracuse. Battle's got to go and didn't realize how much time was left. Second shot clock violation for the Orange.
And folks, Carolina is doing a great job of taking away dribble penetration, and what they're doing is they're loading what we call the box, both elbows and then both post areas. There is no room for dribble penetration, and that's been the difference in this game over the last 5 minutes. Syracuse has got nothing off the bounce.
Johnson's pass denied to the logo area, and May left it too low for the 6'9" Brooks. Off the Orange, stays with UNC with 13 to shoot. Johnson, NBA range 3. A little bit too aggressive on the rebound. Back the other way with the foul against Kenny Williams, his first.
Well, that's what the zone does, is it entices you to take three-point shots versus aggressively trying to attack it and then kicking for the threes. That was a missed opportunity there for the Tar Heels.
The Orange playing for another quadrant 1 victory, trying to go from the first 4 out into the field of 68. 3 quadrant 1 wins for them this year against a team that has the most in college basketball in North Carolina. Brissett off balance. May comes down with it, feeds forward for Berry.
Brissett may have gotten fouled on that one.
May did on his way up.
And folks, this is what the quick advance does off the dribble. North Carolina gets you back on your heels, and because you're scrambling, now you can't find open people in the painted area. What a beautiful bounce pass underneath. Luke May with great hands there, getting fouled as he got to the rim.
And it's foul trouble for Chukwu. That's his 3rd.
They can ill afford to take him out of the game, because what's happening is when they take him out of the game, now all of a sudden Carolina gets really aggressive and they start to drive to the front of the rim. Syracuse doesn't have a backup shot blocker with Sidibe having chronic knee issues.
Foul trouble only serves to underscore how important the three of Battle, Howard, and Brissett are offensively for the Orange. And we played you that quote from Jim Boeheim from a couple games ago against Boston College. Last night was definitely an aberration scoring-wise with Dolezaj and Chukwu. Certainly not the norm. Howard gets back iron. Dolezaj keeps the possession alive.
Wow, they have nowhere to go with the dribble. Look how they're loading up to the dribbler. There is nowhere to go.
Pinson called for the bump, and that's number 2 on Pinson.
And that's a good call as he's trying to turn the corner there. And Theo's got his hand on his hip there. That's a good call by the official. But North Carolina is doing a great job of sinking to the basketball. There is nowhere for Carolina to go off the dribble.
Woods swipes it away from Howard. Johnson drives the lane, gets the bucket off the window, and a chance for 3.
And Mike, what were we just talking about? When Chukwu's off the floor, Carolina has been attacking to the rim. With no rim protector at the front of the rim, Carolina's got to continue to do it consistently. That's a really good read. And what good body balance in the air by Cam Johnson. That was pretty. How about keeping his eyes on the rim and the finish?
Johnson's now got 5. Luke May is the leading scorer with 9 points for UNC. They've gotten it to the basket. They've rebounded their misses, and they've turned steals into points.
Yeah, you have no shot at beating Carolina when you allow them to excel in all of those areas. Typically, you have to take 2 away. Can't turn it over, can't allow them to get second chance points. But they are putting on a clinic both in transition and in the half court against that 2-3 zone. The ball movement has been crisp.
So the foul total continues to rise on the Orange big man. That foul that sends Johnson to the line. Number 3 on Barama Sidibe, 3 for Chukwu, who sits on the bench as well. Lane violation against Luke May, battling for position with Sidibe. So wipe off the free throw attempt, and the lead stays at 12.
And Mike, I think we would expect that because North Carolina's been sitting here waiting on Syracuse, who played a really tough game last night. No bench depth. And clearly, Carolina looks like the fresher team on both ends of the floor here in the first half.
Every starter played at least 35 minutes last night. Battle gets them back into it, down by 10.
Need much more of that from Syracuse. I like what they did. They moved everyone from the right side of the floor to the left side of the floor, giving Battle an opportunity to attack one-on-one.
Woods had it poked away, out of bounds. Syracuse ball.
And folks, watch this possession here. Syracuse clears just about everybody out of that wing area. Frank Howard stays low, and what that allows for is Battle to be able to attack that elbow area without much help. Syracuse got to continue to do that, get away from the basketball to allow their one-on-one players to make those kinds of plays.
Isolation scoring where they succeed. They assist on only 48% of their baskets, lowest rate in the ACC. It tells you a lot about how they find their buckets.
And Mike, to your point, 12.5% of their possessions are isolation situations, which is the highest rate of any major conference team.
May was going for the backdoor feed, which he found success on earlier. Kickball stops the clock at 4:11 to go. Robinson gives a breather to Pinson with the extended timeout coming at the first whistle under 4 minutes.
I mean, think of how many fresh bodies we've seen going in and out for Carolina here early. Again, fatigue will become a factor for Syracuse. But Syracuse has got to get some stops and get out and try to get some early baskets as well. They're playing against a half-court tough defense every time down the floor.
That's another three-pointer. Cam Johnson's got 8, and he's 2 of 3 from deep.
36% three-point shooter on the year, 41% from 3 over the last 2 games. He has been cooking.
Coming off a year where he averaged 12 and 5 at Pittsburgh last year, averaging 13 and 5 this year. No basket, foul on the floor. Carolina's doing everything right in the first half against Syracuse.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Protect your family no matter what.
Sixth-seeded North Carolina in control over Syracuse. Fonz will go inside the play and show how they've been doing a little zone busting.
I love it, folks. Let's bring your attention here. Watch Luke May here for Carolina. As that basketball comes into the painted area, dribble penetration here by Joe Barry goes up. Watch how Luke May seals on the inside. That's a beautiful move by Big on the inside. Gives you inside position to be able to offensive rebound. Now that basketball comes out, you get it to the ACC area, what we talked about. You force Brissett on the weak side of the floor, have to play 2. Attacks the basket. Nice little bounce pass underneath. North Carolina is getting anything and everything that they want against that 2-3 zone right now. Look at this. Inside the restricted area, 8 of 15, outside 3 of 11. So what should they continue to do? Keep getting it inside to the restricted area. Nicely done here early in the first half by the Tar Heels.
Attacking the basket, 18 of their 34 points coming in the paint for a team that since February 1st averages more points than any team in college basketball, and how apropos, averages the most paint points in college basketball, 37 a game.
Wow, that's vintage Carolina basketball. Been at ESPN for 9 years, and I expect the same thing every single year from this team. And it's interesting because they're a little bit smaller than the teams that they've had in the past, and yet they continue to dominate the painted area.
It's good you expect the same thing. That's good foresight from you, seeing as the head coach beat you by 6 years.
Absolutely.
Roy in his 15th season at the helm. Jim Boeheim on the other side, 42 years at his alma mater. Barry, a high arcing shot. Tipped out to Battle.
It is remarkable, though, Mike, as we're getting into the small ball generation in college that obviously tends to get much of what they get of influence from the NBA. Not North Carolina. They like having bigs across that front line and punish you on the offensive glass. They trap you, get out in transition. And they have not changed their philosophy whatsoever, even though they're shooting a lot more threes this year than they have in the past.
Push is the call as Sidibe fell out of bounds. Coming up on the Audi halftime report, we'll look at a must-win game for the Longhorns. They're playing without Mo Bamba, and the luck of the Irish continues here at the Barclays Center in the ACC tournament.
I didn't even wear my green tie today.
So you're saying when you don't wear your green tie, it's good luck. So you don't need to wear the green tie.
That's right. Thank you.
Brissett contested 3. Much needed.
Yes. He's shooting it confident today, isn't he?
Barry runs the floor. Swatted back Brissett. Battle trying to start a run with a 3-on-2. He steps through, around and out. Offensive rebound, second chance. He's going to shoot 2, and Roy's not happy.
And, Mike, that's a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. I think Syracuse is letting Carolina off the hook on missed shots and not using their speed and athleticism to get out in transition. I like when Battle's pushing it up the floor and looking to attack the painted area.
20 points a game this year for the sophomore out of Edison, New Jersey. St. Joseph High School in Metuchen. 3rd highest scoring total in the ACC, and the most by an Orange player since Hakeem Warwick's 21.4 a game in 04-05.
Double figure scoring in all but one game this season. 8 points against Toledo in the non-conference. He's been absolutely sensational. Carolina's got to continue to get that basketball into the ACC area off the pass or off the bounce. but you got to finish the possession with a rebound.
Three-pointer is good for Kenny Williams. Gets a nice clean look and a 41% three-point shooter. Lethal from beyond the arc.
Those second chance opportunities kill you. Syracuse did a nice job defensively, but couldn't come up with the defensive rebound.
An 11-point game in which North Carolina has led by as many as 13.
Got to space the floor and allow Frank Howard to get to the gap.
That was a difficult shot, and look how far away from the basket he started that drive.
Got to give a lot of credit to Joe Barry's defense on that one.
Williams again. Well off the mark.
Yeah, that ball never changed sides of the floor. That was a bad shot there by Williams.
Battle, no call. On the contact as Carolina scrambles. And a long rebound eludes O'Shea Brissett. North Carolina can dwindle this down to within about 7 seconds of the end of the first half.
Tell you what, folks, I just watched Tyus Battle walk from the foul line area up to the three-point area in front of Syracuse. He is gassed right now. And they've had to play a lot of minutes this year. They don't have many reserves over there on the bench. And so he and Brissett, Frank Howard have had to play plus 38 minutes a night. Nice.
Manley finds Playtech on the wing. Barry sees one he likes. Playtech offensive board. May attacks from the left side. No. And a slam follow at the rim. Sterling Manley. Brissett back down the other end. A three-pointer to answer and bring the first half to a close. Some late fireworks before the break. And we've got ourselves a 10-point game at halftime.
Tell you what, North Carolina's done a great job of dictating pace in this game, getting out in transition, turning over Syracuse, and they have dominated the painted area.
And that's given them the 39-29 lead in a rematch of a February 21st matchup won by the Tar Heels. Our Audi halftime report comes your way after these messages. Welcome back to ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. Fourth and final game of the day here on day 2 at the ACC tournament. Nobody has won a game on this floor today by more than an 8-point margin.
Wow.
And here we are at the half, 39-29. This is the 2018 New York Life ACC tournament. The North Carolina Tar Heels, the number 6 seed here against the Syracuse Orange, and a 10-point game at the half. It was not the best offensive performance in the first half for North Carolina, shooting below 40%, and yet they've attacked the zone so well that they have a 10-point lead. How did they do that?
Well, they've gotten a little bit of everything against the zone today, so let's take a look at how they did it. It was absolutely incredible. Take a look at this one, folks. They get into the ACC area, and how about the beautiful read here? Had Luke May decided not to, went to the second option over in the corner. Little extra pass there. Barry with the 3 from the outside. Now they get a second. They get an offensive rebound here. A little kick out. May comes to the basket, misses it. Offensive rebound here by Sterling Manley. And what do you want? Points in the paint. He dunks it over the top. They were able to get anything and everything that they wanted against that 2-3 zone. Syracuse has got to adjust and tighten up.
Moments ago, Allison Williams with Roy Williams.
Coach Williams, what have you seen as far as your defense setting up your offense?
Well, we did some nice things, got a couple of turnovers, but you've got to cover the three-point shot. They were 3 or 4 for 17 last night, so you know things are going to balance out, but you can't stand there and let a guy dribble up in your face and shoot a 3, but we got to do a better job.
Okay, what about getting the ball inside against the zone? How have you had success attacking them?
Well, it's something we do all the time. It's hard against Syracuse, but we got it in there a couple of times.
Roy, thanks.
And when he talks about defending the three-point shot, that's where the Orange had success. They shot 7 of 13 from 3, and from inside the arc, just 3 of 15.
Yeah, O'Shea Brissett, number 11 in Orange out there, was a perfect 4 for 4 from 3.
Inside the free throw line, Pinson connects.
And folks, that's what we talked about. Anytime you're playing against a 2-3 zone, the area to attack is the ACC area. You want to put your most versatile player there. Their guy for Carolina, Theo Pinson. What a beautiful read there.
And with 10 points, he's now the leading scorer for the Tar Heels. The game's leading scorer, Brissett, with 12, as you mentioned, perfect from 3 on 4 tries. Johnson attacking, stripped by Brissett. And it stays here. Let's go back to Allison.
Well, guys, talked to Syracuse assistant coach Adrian Autry, and he said they've got to be better on the defensive boards. Gave UNC 17 second chance points in that first half. And then also, of course, the turnovers hurt them. He said we have to be better moving the ball. It's sticking a little bit. And when we do, we have to really shore up our passes and be strong with the ball.
Three-pointer good for Barry. Turnovers an issue in the first half.
Yes.
You look at the box score, 9 of them for the Cuse in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, leading at 12 points. We talked about taking away the easy opportunities from Carolina. Syracuse did not do that. 12 points off turnovers they gave up, and then 17 second chance points. You cannot beat Carolina giving them that much of a cushion.
Brissett had Pinson on his heels. That leads to a basket.
Tell you what, folks, this kid's going to be a monster. I expect him to be first or second team ACC as his career progresses, as Carolina gets another one off the early push.
I think the question for Brissett is just how many years does he stay on the SU Hill?
Absolutely. I mean, he's showing the entire package tonight.
Dolezaj not a factor tonight so far. 4 points for him after a career-high 20 yesterday. Battle on the move.
But Mike, remember how he was getting them? He was getting them off of the play of Frank Howard or Ty's Battle off the bounce. He hasn't had many of those opportunities tonight.
The driving opportunities haven't been there, and let me know if you see the same thing. It's that the North Carolina defenders have done such a good job staying chest to chest with the ball handlers of the Orange.
Yeah, and then the help. They've been over early, which allows them to be able to get to shooters more quickly. The defense, the half-court defense of Carolina has been superb tonight. Look, Frank Howard can't get by Williams there. They've done a good job, to your point, of keeping their chest in front of the ball.
Chukwu, fundamentally sound, grabs the ball above his head and keeps it there to score.
Yeah, he caught little Joel Berry down there, and that's exactly what a big should do. You find those little guards down there, you just reach up right over the top and put it in. That's exactly what Chukwu did.
First 2 of the game for him, but that's his 4th foul.
I'm not sure about that one, Mike. I didn't think that was a foul. Folks, watch as this basketball goes up. That's Joel Berry down there. He has no shot at a 7-2 Chukwu down there. Well, yeah, it was a foul. He hit him on the arms. Good call by the official. They are right 98%. I'll go 99% of the time. They were absolutely correct there.
When Chukwu picked up his 2nd foul in the first half, that was a big point for North Carolina. They've got 11 two-point field goals in the paint, and 7 of them came since that 2nd foul when the Orange started rotating in off the bench. A little bit of Matthew Moyer in the first half, who played 3 minutes, as well as Barama Sidibe.
With Chukwu with 4 fouls, I would continue to drive it right at him. He'll be a little bit more tentative to challenge shots at the top. A strong move.
Howard left it short. Chukwu fighting for it. Shot clock violation. The 3rd forced by the Tar Heels and their stingy defense. SportsCenter comes your way tonight, 1 Eastern on ESPN after Cavs Nuggets, where LeBron and Cleveland are starting out a season-long 6-game road trip, and updates from all around Champ Week as tickets continue to be punched and brackets evolve. SportsCenter, 1 Eastern on ESPN.
5th.
And the ESPN app.
Wow, that's Chukwu's 5th. He's coming out of the game now. That is big. And this is where, as a big, you have to know that you're already in foul trouble. You cannot go for shot fakes. Luke May gives him a nice ball fake, stays low. And as Chukwu comes over the top, just jumps up and draws the foul. That is a huge loss for Syracuse, because we saw the impact when Chukwu went out in the first half. Carolina just started to attack the painted area, and Syracuse had no answer because of the lack of his shot blocking ability.
So the replacement for Chukwu is Barama Sidibe, who steps onto the floor at the 16.5-minute mark with 3 personal fouls.
Wow, and another offensive rebound for the Tar Heels.
Best in that category in the ACC. Most offensive rebounds per game in the 15-team league.
Now the good part about it is Sidibe is a much better offensive player than Chukwu. So let's see if he can give them some kind of offense on that end of the floor, because they certainly need some more production from someone other than the big 3.
Battle Howard, Brissett around the perimeter with Sidibe and Dolajai inside the arc. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Battle tries to create space against Williams.
What superb one-on-one defense by the Tar Heels.
Williams defends and delivers at the other end. Timeout Syracuse. 51-33, all Tar Heels.
Well, their defense have been excellent, and when you can create offense off of your defense, you get that zone on the heels. Kenny Williams knocks down a 3 from the corner.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Protect your family no matter what.
The lead is 18 for North Carolina, which came into the postseason having lost the final 2 games of the regular season. A 3-point loss against Miami, and then the finale against Duke, 74-64. Roy's team had been on a roll before that, winning 6 in a row. And looking to get back on track here, having won 6 in a row against Syracuse. First time they met this year. End of February, a 78-74 Tar Heels victory at the Carrier Dome. Not quite as close here tonight. Battle working on Williams. Leaves it short into the hands of Pinson.
Because of the good defense of Carolina, everything's a challenge shot. What a catch by Luke May.
Another timeout with 15:02 to go. Tonight was an opportunity for Syracuse to add on to its NCAA tournament resume, but up against a projected number 2 seed, so far, they've fallen short.
Carolina has an 18-point lead. Folks, watch this in fast motion. Oh, what do you see? Not quite sure, but you see Pinson knocking down a little short J. But let's slow life down just a little bit. Watch the reads he makes. Watch his eyes. Short corner, nothing there. Reads the other side of the floor, nothing there. Nobody coming up and challenging me. I'm going to knock this little 12-foot jump shot down. You're talking about a quarterback reading all of his options and his progressions. No one does it better than Theo Pinson in the middle of that zone. That was perfect execution and a great read.
Pinson's got 11 tonight, 3 of 6 from the floor to go with 6 rebounds. So he's played well against the Orange both times this year. First matchup, a career high 23 for him in that 4-point win in Central New York. A fling across the lane, ill-advised, and taken away by the Tar Heels.
Yeah, what Frank Howard thought was there was not. Luke May didn't come over to help. One more dribble. Get to the front of that rim.
Williams shares for Pinson, feeling generous. Barry off the iron.
Yeah, Frank Howard, one of my favorite players, is really struggling on the night. 1 of 10 from the floor.
When the Orange wins, it's because of, on most nights, a combination of Battle, Howard, and Brissett, who's got 14. Battle has 10, but Howard with just 3, combining for 27 of the 33 points between that trio.
And that 10 that Tyus Battle has is a little bit deceptive because he's 3 of 13 from the floor. And to your point, Both of those guys need to shoot. They not only need production in terms of scoring, but they got to shoot a good percentage, and that has not happened. O'Shea Brissett has been pretty good tonight, though.
The other 6 points, 4 belong to Dolezaj and 2 to the disqualified Chukwu. Sidibe scores from the left side. So last game, starters scored all 73. First bench points of the ACC tournament for Syracuse. Wide open, Berry for 3.
Well, Syracuse has just not been ready for the early push of Carolina, so they're not back sprinting back, getting that 2-3 zone set up. And when they haven't, North Carolina has caught them back on their heels and been able to drill them from 3 on a couple of occasions.
The three-pointers for North Carolina have started to drop. Now 6 of 14 after, as a team, they shot under 40% in the first half. There's Johnson getting the bucket. For a team this year that scores 30% of their points on threes, the most of any Roy Williams team since he's come to Chapel Hill.
Been amazing. And then when they go to that small lineup, which is on the floor right now, I think they become even more lethal, because now you have 4 really good three-point shooters of around 1 Theo Pinson, who's an excellent passer.
A 5-on-4 chance here. Do they recognize it? Williams in transition leaves it short. Howard wants to run. His lob goes off the glass. Brissett didn't see it coming. Berry with a frenetic pace. Johnson slows it down.
Yeah, I couldn't see who that was defensively for Carolina that was running with Brissett, but sniffed that one out and actually boxed him out, and that's why Brissett couldn't get to that ball.
The 3 goes. O'Shea Brissett, 5 of 6 from three-point range. He has 17 of the Orange's 38.
Yeah, if it weren't for Brissett, wow, they'd be down 30 right now.
May gets fouled. That'll be 4 on Sidibe.
Folks, watch this advance here. Joel Berry is absolutely feeling it, and he's got the Tar Heels rolling here in Brooklyn.
In them tonight with foul trouble. Here's what they might have to fall back on. Their non-conference strength of schedule this year, 16th compared to other comparable bubble teams.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive by the Orange, because it's funny, in my head, I would have it not nearly that high, because since I've been at ESPN and we've been in the ACC, I've always thought they played a very soft non-conference schedule, but clearly the numbers say very differently. So that's a nice foundation block to have before the NCAA committee.
They flipped the narrative that the non-conference schedule is always soft and that they don't leave the state. Last year it was 215, and 2 years ago it was 122. So this year, very different scheduling-wise. You know, they dropped off some teams that were plus 200.
Smart.
In KenPom, South Carolina State, Holy Cross, North Florida. This year they played Kansas, neutral site in Miami, at Georgetown in D.C., UConn at Madison Square Garden, and at home against Maryland. So making an effort to improve that non-conference strength of schedule this year, and we'll see how it plays out for them on Sunday.
Yeah, and I know people would think differently, but the only bad loss I really have them for is St. Bonaventure at home, but they have some good wins against Virginia Tech, Miami, Clemson, and depends on what Louisville does the rest of this tournament. If Louisville can continue to advance, that'll be considered a good win as well.
The Cardinals in action tomorrow. That's a noon tip-off here at the Barclays Center against number 1 seed Virginia, where we'll see seeds 1 through 4 in action starting to play tomorrow. Virginia, Duke, Clemson, and Miami all earning that double bye until the Thursday here in Brooklyn. Great offensive rebounding by North Carolina, but you could just pull the string, and we could have said that all game.
Well, that was the best defensive possession I've seen Syracuse have here in the last 5 minutes. And to not be able to secure the defensive rebound, that is psychologically destructive.
Foul is on Brandon Robinson for North Carolina to give the ball back to the Orange with 10:35 to go.
for the rest of this game for Syracuse, as the big three are taking shots, for Syracuse to have a chance to get back into this game. Sidibe, number 35 in orange, and Dolajai, 21 in orange. Those guys are going to have to crash the offensive glass.
Battle got tripped up there with plate tech.
He's so good, Battle, with getting you off balance and then attacking, and that's a good call by the official. Plate tech unintentionally tripped him, and what good sportsmanship picking him up off the floor.
Howard in a crowd. Looked like it fell into the hands of Sidibe. And allows Roger Ayers to blow the whistle once again against the Tar Heels.
Well, there's a hand right there, so Frank Howard changed his shot. I think if he just would have shot it normal, he actually would have gotten fouled and gotten to the foul line. But it's a little unnerving when you have hands in front of you and on the side of you when you're going into your jump shot, so I understand why he changed it.
Pinson's third foul sends him to the bench. Battle off on a three-point try. Brissett in pursuit of the loose ball. Stepped on the baseline.
As valuable as Theo Pinson is to this team, because of the superior depth that this North Carolina team has, and having Joel Berry out there on the floor, they just don't skip a beat.
Well, we mentioned how experienced they are in the postseason the last 2 years, having played 17 postseason games, built for this type of atmosphere. And they'll need to piece together 4 wins to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get the ACC Tournament Championship. Which raises an interesting question for a fan of a team. If you know that you're already in, as North Carolina very firmly is, projected as a number 2 seed right now, would you rather have your team not go all the way to the championship game of the tournament and be a little bit more fresh heading into the NCAA tournament?
There's that thought process, and I think if you're a coaching staff, maybe you're thinking that, but you certainly don't share that with your players. No, sincerely, because you want your players on edge all the time, going 100% all the time, competing with a competitive mindset. And though in theory that works real well because they would have fresh legs going into the tournament, unlike teams like from the Big Ten who've already played their tournament championship. It makes some sense, but you cannot share that with your players. The drive.
Howard, count the 2, and he goes to the free throw line.
That's the first time this half that he's had any room to make a one-on-one move. And I love the early advance because now the defense isn't set. And Frank Howard does a great job of getting his left shoulder past Joel Berry. And once you get the left shoulder by, the defensive player is cooked. Late rotation there by Luke May. Howard able to finish over the top, and maybe seeing the ball go through the rim there twice in a row will give him some confidence because he's really struggled from the field.
The Tar Heel advantage at 17 with just about 9 minutes to play. May gets trapped in the short corner and heaves just shy of midcourt for Berry. Back to May, out for Johnson.
Gotta go here. See, I still think the advance from Syracuse is way too slow.
And they're trying to create purely from the perimeter. Sidibe posting up inside, but the guards aren't giving him any looks.
Yeah. But that right there, that's big for Frank Howard because he's really struggled. And we said getting that and one and seeing the ball go through the rim twice could be a confidence builder. Let's see if he can put a few of those together.
He was the slowest of the big 3 to get started today for the Orange. May contested cleanly by Brissett.
Mike, I think at times when Brissett rebounds the basketball, I think he should push it. He's got a good enough handle and just spray the ball ahead. They'll get some easier opportunities for Howard and Battle.
He could create a mismatch.
Yes.
Sidibe snares the loose ball, bounces it out. Brissett tries a 3, nearly had it go. Sidibe with the rebound has the orange bench to its feet. And many of the faithful orange-clad fans here in Brooklyn standing as well. 59-44 Tar Heels.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life. We know that life doesn't fit into any one plan. So start a plan that flexes with yours.
Come out here in Brooklyn, the top 4 seeds. Clemson with one of its best years in league play ever. Miami, Chris Likes, Lonnie Walker and company. Jaquan Newton come to town. Duke with a couple of fabulous freshmen who we may not see for much longer in the college game. And the nation's best defense. The Virginia Cavaliers have a rematch with the Louisville Cardinals in our noon game tomorrow to get things started. The first of 4 games here at the Barclays Center tomorrow. Clemson and Boston College with the upset win over NC State. The winner of this one sees Miami and a rematch of last year's ACC tournament title game with Duke and Notre Dame, which erased a 21-point deficit against Virginia Tech to advance earlier today.
And folks, I know you're looking at that going BC, Clemson, and if you've not seen BC, as Penton draws a foul there, they have one of the ACC's top scoring duos in Kai Bowman and Jerome Robinson. They only combined for 50 today in that win over North Carolina State. They are must-see TV.
26 and 24 between those two North Carolina guards.
And it's funny, it's sad sometimes when you're on a losing team or a team that has lost, because Jerome Robinson is a bad dude. Led the league in scoring this year.
That's a team already that, as they made their push for a win today, had people looking up and down the roster saying, wait a second, Jim Christian doesn't have any seniors on this roster. Here's maybe a preseason top 25 team for next year already, which is looking way too far ahead. But that's the world we live in. Sidibe fighting for it, and his perseverance pays off.
Mike, remember what we talked about earlier is Dolezaj and Sidibe needed to get on that offensive glass. They've been active on that glass as of late, and so when Syracuse misses, those two have to pound the boards. I like what they're doing on the offensive end. Can't give him that much room. He's not going to miss very many of those.
Sidibe has been playing with 4 fouls with Syracuse on its backup big man after Pascal Chukwu fouled out. Battle can't touch it, and he's saved by Brissett. Wow. Howard bumped, foul to Brooks.
That's a really smart play there by Frank Howard. You turned the corner and could see that Brooks was actually out of position. And when you young guards who are watching it, I know it's 11:25 at night, so maybe most of you are asleep.
It's a school night, Alfonso.
Right. When you catch that big out there slow, you just attack his outside hip and try to turn the corner. You'll get a foul about 90% of the time.
What's the 2018 version of the people who told the story of I listened to the transistor radio under my pillow? Is it like I've got the ESPN app going under the covers on my phone now?
I think you're right, because you can actually control the brightness of that thing too, so you might be able to get away with it a little bit. So you moms and dads know you may want to check.
Shut off the Wi-Fi.
That's right.
Dolezaj gets a rest, and a well-deserved one. Matthew Moyer, who's played all of 3 minutes in the game, comes in a pressure situation.
It's just going to say, if you can get through that first wave of those traps in the backcourt, they should have 3-on-1, 3-on-2 scenarios.
Smart foul?
And that was an incredibly smart foul, because North Carolina was 3-on-1 at that time. For Syracuse to continue climbing back in this game, they've got to keep Carolina from second chance opportunities here. So if they can force them to miss, they've got to rebound that basketball and get out.
A trap on the perimeter, one that North Carolina employed earlier. Takes the shot clock down to 12 for the Tar Heels. May in his preferred spot. Pinson with a clear path. Oh, what a reverse lay-in. Wow.
He literally jumped and stayed on the left side of the basket, but using his length to get it up on the glass on the opposite side. That was pretty.
Brissett sizing up Pinson.
Nice
For
cut.
Dolezaj, who pump fakes May and draws the foul. The freshman against much more experienced players with a savvy move from the skinny Slovakian.
Indeed. Watch this move by Theo Pinson, though. Oh, my gosh. Hung up there for a little while. And watch his eyes, folks. Watch his eyes stay on the backboard the entire time. And if you can see it, you can lay it. And what a beautiful lay there by Theo Pinson. Wow. About Theo Pinson, 14 and 8 on the night.
After a career high 23, the first time that these two teams played.
He's just one of those guys that's a stat sheet stuffer. He does some of everything out there on the floor. Plays the point forward, playing quarterback right there. What a pass.
Full court pressure. Williams catches the touchdown and adds the extra points.
How about that pass?
Beautifully on target.
I think you got to give it to Sidibe.
Battle says no. And we'll say yes to the result.
And folks, oftentimes when you get a lot of pressure up in the backcourt against pressure, you can just release someone and let them go. What a pass there by Theo Pinson. Thought he got away with a little bit of travel. I thought he dragged that pivot foot there, but wow, that pass was absolutely on the money.
1 to 10, how hard is it to throw that pass?
With someone in your face? Very tough. Yeah, and what he did is he threw it and let him run under it. Oh, look at that beautiful catch there by Williams, too. 2 hands ready, just threw it over the outside shoulder. That was nice.
Fonz, you've told me so many times you usually only appreciate beauty when you look in the mirror, but I'm glad that you saw it somewhere else here, too.
That's not what I said.
Absolutely not true. Takeaway by the Orange. A 3 for Battle. Off the front rim. Berry pushing. Johnson across the lane. Battle adamant his hands were up. The officials say otherwise. It's his first.
Carolina changes ends of the floor faster than any team I've ever seen. Let's see. No, Battle.
No.
He did go straight up, but he roofed him a little bit. That's a good call by the official. Folks, when his arms come down, if he would have kept his arms vertical, it would have been a no call. But once you bring your arms down, they call that roofing. That was a good call by the official.
Berry's first free throw tonight is good. 88% on the year.
And for the record, when I spoke of beauty when we were coming over the truck, I was talking about you and Allison. You got your wires crossed there, partner. Just saying. Speechless as usual.
I got to throw it back at you. Glad you still got juice here. 30 minutes to midnight. Tar Heels have led by as many as 21. It's a 2-touchdown lead here with 5 minutes to go for the number 6 seed in the ACC tournament.
Still plenty of time for the Qs, but they've got to get a bucket here.
Loose ball. There's Dolezaj to scoop it up. Sends it back out for Howard. Floater is good after he missed the 3.
Tell you what, the extra effort by Syracuse on that offensive glass has paid big dividends for them here in the last 7 minutes. Just when it looked like they were going away, they have gotten on that glass, given themselves extra opportunities.
And they are finding themselves gasping for breath here on the defensive end. 2 tries off the mark from Johnson and Pinson. They can get this thing down to single digits here. And one. Battle!
But Mike, you know why I love this one? We've been talking about this the entire game. Syracuse needs to push early because you can catch them off balance and Battle. What a strong move and finish on the interior. Look at this spin, folks. That is really nice. And look at his eyes concentrating, and Coach Williams is not happy. Don't rip that one up, Coach. I think that's probably about $3 grand there. Why don't you donate it instead? got ourselves a game here, Mike Cousins.
Foul on Howard.
Yeah, I thought Frankie was unnecessarily aggressive right there. You don't want to give them easy opportunities. Don't want to put them on the foul lines. You don't want to give second chance shots, and you don't want to allow them to get in transition. You know, I like the effort there, but anytime you swipe down on the basketball, the majority of the times the official are going to call that a foul, and that's a good call there.
Johnson 87% on the year. Now 42 for 48 from the stripe. Wow. One of two.
He's tricky with that basketball, isn't he? Oh my gosh.
Back and forth they go, and somebody's got to be on the move here. Howard floats, back iron, no. A couple of tips. Out Carolina's way, a 2-on-1. Pinson shares it back, and the lay-in good for Williams.
Folks, that is vintage transition basketball. How about two bounce passes? Wow, fundamentally executed and a nice finish. Tough shot.
Battle's response comes up short. The opportunity there for the Tar Heels again. Turned away. Battle wants to go all the way. Sends it out. A Howard three. Brissett was robbed. And Dolezaj bumps Pinson. It ain't over. A couple of Hall of Famers coaching their guys till there's zeros on the clock. Vintage Boeheim. Riled up Roy. 3:12 to go. Old gentleman.
I love it.
Delivering you sports news and information.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, from the comfort of courtside seats with suits and makeup, There's a couple of guys, Allison Williams, bringing you Syracuse and North Carolina.
I'm not ashamed either. Butchie Grove says it all the time. Men in makeup.
Pinson knocks down the first free throw to put the lead back to 13 for North Carolina as they try and dispatch the Syracuse Orange from the ACC tournament. First action for UNC. Syracuse yesterday going 73-64 with a victory against Wake Forest. Back-to-back Fonz. Not a lot of rest. A difficult ask for Jim Boeheim of these players.
Yes, with practically six guys that you can rotate. And Chukwu, of course, fouled out of the basketball game, so they limited it there. And Sidibe's been able to give him some good minutes, though. He and Dolezaj got to continue to stay on that glass.
The defensive effort tonight from North Carolina has been nothing short of excellent, holding the Orange to 33% shooting, making the shots difficult each and every time. Williams ahead of the floor. Sidibe has fouled out, and a chance for a three-point play.
And folks, this is what I love about this North Carolina team. The ball does not stick. Look at how the ball moves up the floor, and it gives you opportunities to go one-on-one in transition. And I know they're upset, but you cannot put your hand on the ball handler, especially while they're getting to the rim there. That's a good call by the official. 35 in orange. Sidibe has fouled out of this game. Now both of their centers out of this game, which forces Syracuse to have to go really small.
Moyer into the game, along with Howard, Battle, Brissett, and Dolezaj.
The more you can give them some offense.
Floater from Battle, rebounded and put back by Brissett.
Long pass here.
And the track meet dominated by North Carolina. Basket after basket has just been forward feed and a lay-in.
Yes.
15 of the 76 points tonight for North Carolina. Coming in transition, Howard backing away from the basket and has to call timeout with 1:49 to go.
Beautifully, they pass the basketball. Notice how it doesn't stick. As soon as it hits their hand, it is off and able to find open shots. Here's Pinson here, kicking that basketball back underneath to Luke May. It is just beautiful. Watch it, folks. It is just absolutely gorgeous. The basketball never sticks on the hand when they're making a pass. And then when they get out in transition, they have just been exceptional. And even the deep ball, how about that catch there by Kenny Williams? And another touchdown pass over the top. They have really executed well. The last box score I got, they had 22 field goals, 18 assists on 22 field goals. Unbelievable execution here on the offensive end for the Tar Heels tonight.
The way they share the ball, the way they anticipate where their teammates are going to be on the floor, is that something that's teachable, or is it an innate sense?
Well, they want to get out and run. Oh, you mean in the half court and the full court?
In the half court.
In the half court, it's actually taught, and the reason I say that is most players, when they catch it, especially in this generation, want to do things one-on-one. And so when you see a secondary defender, you got to be willing to know where your teammate's going to be. And what we saw in that little video there is anytime they drew an extra defender, they knew exactly where the open guy was going to be against the zone, and the ball never sticks. And so it really puts that zone defense, or any defense for that matter, really in a tough way. It gets you scrambling, and they've taken advantage all night long.
May, and the officials let a hard thwack from Dolezaj go, with this one firmly in Carolina's grasp.
Talk about passing, yet another pretty pass against the zone.
A lot of hands on the ball. It ends up with Pinson.
Ty's battle fell into the cameras back there.
So a loss for the Orange will put them at 20-13. North Carolina will go to 23-9. And so the resume will hold 3 quadrant 1 wins, an improved relative to other years non-conference strength of schedule. Joe Lunardi has them out. What say you, LaFonso?
I think their non-conference strength of schedule is going to get them in with wins in the conference season over Virginia Tech, who's in, Miami, who's in, and Clemson, who's in. And I said to you yesterday, Mike, that we're going to end up with at least 1, possibly 2 Big 12 teams at 8-10 in the NCAA tournament. And I think the ACC is the biggest, baddest, deepest conference in the entire country. And I think that'll carry some weight.
North Carolina can look ahead to a matchup tomorrow against Miami, a rematch of their second to last game of the regular season on February 27th, which preceded the contest against Duke. 91-88 the final score in favor of the Hurricanes in that one.
Yeah, for the Louisville to have any chance against this North Carolina team, Quentin Snyder is going to have to be huge at the point guard position. We said that coming into the weekend, or coming into this week. He had 19 points today. He's got to continue to be aggressive.
Palpable frustration on the Orange bench for Battle, who finishes the night with 15 points, 4 field goals in 21 tries.
I have so much respect for the Syracuse team, playing with essentially 6 guys, and they give 100% effort every time they're out there on the floor. Really remarkable and admirable for the Orange.
Second straight night that Syracuse empties its bench, this time in a losing effort after defeating Wake Forest yesterday. So now it's just a long wait until Selection Sunday.
Indeed. Tell you what, Carolina's just taking it to another level. They have that small lineup that they can play fast without sacrificing anything on the offensive glass. I've been really impressed tonight with the way they move the basketball and how they share the basketball.
The best offense in the country since the beginning of February, held under its 85-point-per-game mark in that time, but 78 is enough as they take down Syracuse 78-59 in their first action in Brooklyn. The Orange with an agonizing wait until Sunday when the brackets come out. And our quarterfinals are set starting at noon. All of the action of the ACC tournament tomorrow you can find on ESPN. Virginia and Louisville have a rematch of their game toward the end of the regular season that came down to the wire. Clemson and Boston College will be an exciting and high-scoring affair. And Allison is with North Carolina's Theo Pinson.
Thank you guys so much. Theo, come into this game taking on a Syracuse team that just played last night and whose minutes are dominated by their starters, such a thin bench. What kind of physicality and pace did you try to bring to this game?
We just knew mentally we needed to come in and be more desperate than them. They knew they needed to get this win to get in the tournament. So we just wanted to come in and play as hard as we could. We lost 2 games too, so we had something to prove also. So it was a big time win for us.
How do you feel like those 2 losses kind of impacted the mentality?
I mean, we just wanted to get back to work. That's the good thing about this team. When we go through some laws like that, we want to get back to work and get better. We don't, like I said, this is tournament time. We don't want this ride to end. I'm staying in a beautiful hotel, and that bed is amazing, so I'm going to try to extend my stay.
Joel Berry said this thing. He said the only bad thing is it makes it difficult to get out of bed. But I want to ask you, Theo, you've established yourself as such a prolific passer.
Yeah.
But tonight, 16 points. That's what you've averaged the last 7 games. So how have you been able to find your shot lately?
Just being aggressive. I had this in me the whole time. My teammates always encouraged me to score. I knew this would be a game for me to be aggressive. And the past month, I've had a really good rhythm, and hopefully I can keep it up.
Theo, thank you. Congrats.
Appreciate it.
Hotel bed always beats the on-campus twin extra long. 78-59. Nice. Carolina's a winner. We thank you for being with us tonight on behalf of our entire crew here in Brooklyn. My partner LaFonso Ellis and Allison Williams. I'm Mike Cousins saying so long. We send it to Steve Levy and Kenny Mayne, 2 of Bristol's bravest men in the outdoors.